Welcome to Blue Monday from the Blue Room with me, Les, and Dave. Toppy shows me this week as Everton laboured through another Monday night match, which we'll come to in a minute, before looking ahead to the Fulham game. And I want to ask, are Everton fans a little bit too knee-jerk? We probably all know the answer to that, but we'll have a little dip into it. Anyway, is it too soon to say Fulham's a 6-pointer? There you go, talking about that knee-jerk stuff again. As ever, Blue Monday is brought to you in partnership with Invisible Wind Factory, first venue on the right as you come in from town on the corner of Regent Street and Regent Road. We'll be back in the Wind Factory before the Fulham game on Saturday, where there'll be the usual great food and drink on sale from home baked pies and pierogi and pickle street food, alongside live music from Mike Poynton and the Matchday House Band, and it should be our pre-match podcast panel, which has now become a thing. Christmas is just around the corner as well now, so if you're in charge of booking your Christmas do, don't forget there's 50% off venue hire for Sunday to Thursday bookings in December. Limited availability left, and all details are on invisiblewindfactory.com, or send them a DM if you want to chat. We've got a dedicated webpage for Christmas parties as well. I'll put that in the description. Dave, another frustrating display from Everton. For me, Moyes set the tone with that predictable team selection. I think a lot of us said in the week he'll just change the striker. Only half joking, and he did. And I think that sort of put everyone on the downer. But weirdly, I think they had a good 30 minutes there. Probably could have been 3-0 up. With no one could have argued had he been 3-0 up in that first half an hour. So it was a really good opening to the game. But then when Barry missed that chance, it was a really good chance, and he needs to take responsibility for this. We'll come on to a substitution later, but everyone seemed to be drained of confidence. Then it was just it felt to me just a really odd display from the team and the manager.
I can't stop thinking about it, Les. I'm thinking more about that game than I have done when we've won a derby or something like that, and it's just so angry about how you didn't take 3 points in a game when it's just sitting on a plate for you. Well, like you say, you should be going 3-0 up there, because I think really it's just unlucky not to score when he hits the post. Even Garner from 10 seconds in. And then Barry's miss as well. I mean, there's look, if you look at social, look at the replies we've had as well from post match, where I just nearly just started crying because I was that angry. It was like white noise. I think with that match there, you can look in so many different angles and think that just wasn't good enough. Obviously, Moyes is taking the grunt of it all, and rightly so. But that you look at stuff like that. I mean, he wakes up this morning, he must be seething, thinking if Barry scores that goal, then Everton have set the tempo of the game up, where Sunderland are going to come out and try and score, and you're going to be able to counter attack, because the thing we have become good at is counter attacking. We've got fast players now, which we're able to go and do so. But he's not a good reactionary manager, Moyes. No. I think he sticks in his mind that what he's gone with will eventually work, and even if it doesn't, it's too late to change it. And that's where I've sort of started to come down to a much more calm environment, thinking about this game.
You're a lot more calmer than post-match already, I've got to say.
Yeah, I mean, me and you were considering going up there as well, weren't we?
Yeah.
And I feel sorry for anybody who did. But then, the other side of it, this is a bit of I don't know, mate. I feel like Matt Damon on that film with Robin Williams. What is it?
Oh, Dead Poet Society?
No, the one where he's in his college. He's really clever, but Good Will Hunting. Yeah, I feel like him when he's sitting there having these these discussions with them, psychological stuff, because that they deserve so much better going to games like that. I think it goes without saying, really. But Everton, through that match, and it feels like a defeat. I've felt better when we've lost matches playing worse than what I've seen against that pack of shite tomorrow. And I tell you something, right? We're going to that weekend now, and I'm sat here with the league table in front of me. And we were talking about that. There's no chance Everton can get better teams than when we've been in 7 of these last 8 games, where we've only won one of them, has been shite, right?
Yeah.
And I'm starting here, Les. I'm losing it, mate, because I'm looking at that table and I'm thinking, oh, hang on, look, we're 14th there. You didn't need what I keep on saying it, and it does. You just get lost in translation. That you're only 5 points behind Spurs in 6th.
Yeah.
No, it's all fine. No, it's not fine because these matches now start you're 10 games. You're more than a quarter of the way through the season in the league fixtures. We won 3 in 10 games. Fulham. We were saying then just before we started, if Fulham, you quickly look at this and you think, do you know what? Is this kind of a 6-pointer? Well, if you're going to lose that, fucking right it is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, you're talking about the finer details of this game. Again, trying to calm yourself down a bit. And, yeah, I mean, we should go in there and you said before, like 2 or 3 up, because they were crap as well. That's the other thing people raving about, the new manager and how well they've done. They haven't lost the game at home, and fair play to them. They're up to 4th. But I think it also showed on the side note, the Premier League generally is still at a stinking standard, and it's there to be taken. And we didn't. The fact we got a point, I don't even care that it was a draw now. I don't care because like I said, I felt better losing.
Yeah, I think because there was because the first sort of half an hour was decent, and then after that there was absolutely nothing. Nothing worked. The team just completely sort of looked devoid of anything again. And it's been a recurring theme every week now. Every week it's the same. Jack Grealish doesn't do much. If Ilman and Dye doesn't do anything, the team doesn't do anything. He came off injured, but he started to fade a little bit before that, and the team wasn't creating anything. And just to go on to Moyes as not being a very good reactive manager, I think the most damning stats from last night, the FC Stato put it up on Twitter. Shots in the first 30 minutes, Sunderland 1, Everton 7. Shots in the last 60, Sunderland 16, Everton 1. So it goes to show there, once Barry missed that chance, their manager changed it. Their manager did stuff to change that game and swing it in their favour, whereas Everton just kept doing the same thing. And Moyes is the manager, and he carries the can for performances like that. He carries the can for the team he selected, and he carries the can for those performances. And let's not beat around the bush here. He's one of the best paid managers in the Premier League. He's only behind, I think, Guardiola, Arteta, Emery, Amarin, and Slot. And last night he needed to sort of earn his money there, and once again he didn't. He came up short. We find ourselves constantly talking about subs. We were talking about subs last week. Last night, I don't think I'm ever going to get over that Dwight McNeil substitution, because quite why he saw fit to give him nearly half an hour of the game there. I think when he's not played all season, and when he has played, he's looked absolutely dreadful. I remember against Wolves in the Cup, he had one of the most stinking first halves I've ever seen, and Alcaraz came off before him. And we'll come on to that in a minute, because that's clearly got to be personal with Moyes now. And if he's letting those sort of personal indifferences dictate his team selection, which we all know he has done in the past, it's just not good enough. But just on that, I mean, I think taking Barry off after 55 minutes, okay, you missed a sitter, and he sort of looked a bit lost after that. But I think from a man management point of view, taking him off at that point was the wrong thing to do. You might as well leave him on another 10 minutes. For all Beto did when he came on, you may as well have left Barry on for the whole game. But in reality, leave him on till at least 65, maybe 70, to sort of just give him that little, right, go on, keep going, see what we can do. He comes off shaking his head, which I understand, but he can't lay it all at the manager, because the manager didn't miss that chance. And then the manager didn't go missing after that. So that is on him. He's a 22, 23-year-old player. He's got to take accountability for stuff like that and put it right himself. But it doesn't help when the manager's not giving him and Beto a defined role in the team. Me and Rob spoke about this on Kickabout a few weeks back, and I think Rob mentioned it again last night on post-match, that these players need a defined role. So Barry needs to know his role is going to be, if you're going to start and give him 65, 70, then Beto knows you're on last 20. Give them that defined role. Without it, it's quite hard to perform. It's going to make it more difficult for them. But yeah, I just think it was bad man management all around, and even bad management to the point of bringing McNeil on, and then you've got Dibblin on the bench who doesn't figure again. Just one more stat on that I found as well. Someone dug up a tweet from Match of the Day just before the Palace game. Tyler Diblin's first Everton start ends a run of 185 Premier League matches for David Moyes without naming a teenager in his starting 11. The last time he did that was Jeremy Akia for West Ham in June 2020. So it's like, he's got youth on the bench, he's got options. Roll didn't get a look in. It's just that frustrating, isn't it? And I think really, really poor man management.
It's fucking disgusting because with Barry there, right? And we can accept a lot of excuses. He misses that chance. I mean, that's unforgivable. That anyway, right?
It was a shocker.
Yeah, but I mean, it was early doors as well. So let's put that to one side. Did you get a play? I mean, I was arguing as well. Nearly had to delete the tweet to put out there saying you need to get him off now and he deserves to be let go because he's just missed that chance. But the way we're all reacting after games, like I went absolutely ballistic and started apologising to people for what I said, because a lot of was saying that he actually had a decent game up until that point. I think if you were, which I can't myself split that from the chance he missed, then he actually did. Okay? Probably the best.
Such a poor miss, isn't it? And
it's dreadful.
Kill the game off, probably that.
And Beto's done almost the exact same thing as well. A couple of times this season, right? So we got that issue up front. Then I want to know what has gone on in that dressing room at half time when you've gone in like that at 1-0 up and you've got Barry there who's done half decent, holding it up well. And we'll get into that in a second. And then 10 minutes in, how much has changed in that fucked up psychology of that manager to think, I'm going to put Beto on if you don't pull your finger out in 10 minutes. 10 minutes.
Yeah.
A player getting 10 minutes. What's he done? Has he gone in there and said, do you know what? That chance you missed was shite. If you don't show me you can do better than 10 minutes, you're getting brought off. And the lad standing there, look, I don't care at what level the players are at that moment. Any manager at any level, what is the psychology in their mind to make that change based on 10 minutes of what they've been unable to do? Add to that, Les, the reason why, and this is why it still feels at times recently like we've still got Sean fucking Dyche in charge, is the fact that you've got a striker up there, regardless if they're shite or if they're world class, nobody getting near them. Nobody. And that, it's like a domino effect because you've got Dewsbury all there, who was, again, mate, he went, where's his head been? He's been crap for the last few games. He's all over the place. And he's playing him as a 10. And that's not going to help the lads even more. So, yeah, the strikers are shite. You've got no one close to them. I'm struggling to which one do I lean into, thinking who's the less of two evils here? Is he shite or is he more shite? That's the point that I'm at now with what he's doing and how he's setting this team up. The McNeil thing, Les, that McNeil thing, I nearly threw my telly through the wall when I saw that, because you've spoken there about dribbling. We mentioned this in post-match there, and I think, if you're dribbling there, you need a game changer to go on. You need somebody there who puts a fresh feeling amongst the team that's on there and sort of give everyone a bit of a boost. Look, the kid, I think he's been a little bit like a rabbit in the headlights since we've seen him, but, a lot of different things similar to Barry that you can say, you can make an excuse for there. But I'm thinking if you're a kid there who really wants to go on and put an effect on a game, if you're David Moyes and you've spoken about him in training and he's starting to learn how to get involved with Everton and become immersed in all the Everton stuff, and then you've got Dwight McNeil there, who, like, I mean, I can move better than him, Les, and my feet is killing me today, right? And I've got to walk about. I've got to walk about 15 feet from where my car is to BBC Radio Merseyside. It's still going to take me about 20 minutes. I could move better than Dwight McNeil. And he come on. And he didn't even look enthused at all.
No.
That's the other thing. Mentality. He comes on the pitch and looking at him thinking, he looks like he wants to fucking get a taxi home. And then, so if you're doing that, someone said a really good question here, right? And I'm just going to throw it in there now. And I think it's a little bit of a tease here, but I've fallen for it. Darren Jones has said to me on Twitter, what if McNeil has trained really well and Dibbling hasn't? Discuss. He must have been like fucking Messi in training there. If you're giving him Dibbling must have looked like he's playing from the under 10s.
Yeah,
To not have been that doesn't wash, right? So it's a fair point by Dad in there, but that's why I've absolutely gone ballistic on it. And then you're dribbling there, you're desperate to get on, you want to go and affect the game, and you're seeing Dwight McFucking-Neal get put on that pitch, and he must be sitting there thinking, "What am I doing here?" I had a few offers to come from Southampton, and Southampton are watching the game there, thinking, "You know, let's rub our hands together a little bit more. This lad isn't even getting a game, even though he might be a top class player in a couple of years."
Yeah,
it doesn't wash. Plus, there's other players on that bench, including the goalkeeper, who I put on ahead of McNeil. The lad doesn't look like he wants to be there. He's not going to be there long. Where's the motivation? Where's the motivation there with him to get on that pitch to affect the game in any positive way? And I don't know if you noticed, Les, when the ball's getting, we're trying to attack, his first touch, fucking kicks it out of play.
Oh, he was awful.
Someone said to me, "Didn't we play fucking arse end of Bradford AP or PA or something the other week?" And he lost.
So he played, Asnu played, and someone else played, and the three of them stank the gap out apparently. The thing with the McNeil thing is he's never looked like a particularly good player, and he's never been jet-heeled at all. So he's never been fast, but he has always had something where he looks interested, and he can score a great goal, he can play a killer pass, he can hit a good set piece. He doesn't look interested this season. He really doesn't. You look at his performance against Wolves, it was awful. Last night, dreadful, like you say, couldn't even control the ball. When we have that break right at the end, where Christ, why is gone the player most further forward? Alcaraz should have passed to him, but I can kind of see why he never. I can kind of see why he tried to take that defender on. It was the wrong choice, but I can see why he did it. Why is McNeil not up there as well? You know, he hasn't been on long, and that's the worrying thing for me. You know, Dibbling, okay, he's 19. He played 33 games for Southampton last year. So he played 33 games in a really shit Southampton side, and still came out of that season as a much sought after player by a lot of clubs. So he must have been, I didn't watch him at all last season, but he must have been doing something right to be that highly rated. And it just, to me, it definitely does point to a deeper thing that Moyes isn't interested in youth players. So you take that stat I just said then about the last time they had a teenager in the starting 11 was 2020 before the Palace game. So the new players he brought in the summer, Grealish and Dewsbury Hall have got as many minutes as they possibly can, really. Regardless of how well they're playing. It was fine in the first few weeks of the season when everything was going well. But when they're not really performing, I know Grealish could have had a goal and an assist last night, probably should have done. So he's still doing the business. Dewsbury Hall hasn't done anything for a good few games now. But they seem to be getting all those minutes despite having diminishing impact on the games. Then you look at the young players that are brought in. Diblin's had 62 minutes. Barry's had 247, which is more than I thought, actually. Asnu hasn't played. Alcaraz has had 237, and Rolls had 68 minutes. So it's like those young players that have been brought into the squad, he's just not interested. And it does feel like if you're not older than 24, you're not getting in that team.
No, you know, and that's, you know, there's a mental feeling towards that as well, because look, all of us have got jobs. You're going into work, and you know, look, like I work my bollocks off with my job. Quite proud of it. Do you know what I mean? I work as hard as I possibly can to make an impact in what I'm doing, so people will recognise what I'm doing. And there's a rapport that you build with people around you. You make friends, and you settle into a system as well when you go into work. And I'm just referring to my own way. You yourself, Les, the job you do, the Blue Room, what we do with the Blue Room as well. You know, there's a pride we take in it, and people who listen to us and discuss to us, and we love all that, and we enjoy it. But I say enjoy it, like right now, it's hard to refer.
It's hard work on days like this, isn't it?
Yeah, it is hard work, and I didn't think this would come since Moyes came back, and I didn't think it had come to the point where we started the season quite well with results, and that's just gone down the pan. And you're talking about those changes, you're absolutely right there. I think It is so hard because Ndiaye was the one who goes off. Now he might not play against Fulham. Let's wait and see. It looked relatively serious what he came off with, because when he started even limping towards the side, I was like, honestly, I was praying to whoever, thinking, please don't go off, lads. Please don't go off.
Yeah.
And that's not against whoever's ready to come on, apart from Dwight fucking Neil. But you know, you had Burnham as well. I think midfield were okay. We've got choices there. Roll must be sitting there though and thinking, what's going on here? Why have I come here? You know.
Well, yeah,
And even what I'd say is I'm pulling out players here whose fault it was nowhere near. Don't think it was Jack Grealish's fault at all. You know, there are people you can eliminate from this. O'Brien at right back. And you want to mix things up, you need to knock one thing off so you can move someone else into a different position. But yet then Moyes is looking at that thinking, well, I'm going to take the striker off 10 minutes in because I've changed my mind here. Where's that balance? You mentioned the word balance. Where's that makes sense? Where are you looking at some of these and thinking, well, do you know what? If you do it on merit as well, fine, do it on merit as a manager, right? It's harsh, but do it on merit there. Because, I mean, look, it's a fine line. If Beto comes on and Alcaraz squares that to him like he did against Crystal Palace and he went and scored the winner last season, then we're all screaming, Everton went and won a game and we're nowhere near like this, you know. But still, it's still that fine line from David Moyes, because the amount of arguments I've had in the last couple of weeks that people want to get him to go is, and I've said that's ridiculous because you got 7, 8, 9 games in, but the tally's going up and up and up now, Les, and it doesn't look like we're getting any better. So you know, you look what he did. Mate, I've sat there looking at that, and it's drilled in my mind those changes that he's made there, and you've still got, like we said there, you've still got Roll on the bench, you've still got Dibbling on the bench there. You don't make a substitution. You make that 57-minute substitution. Beto comes on for Barry, which we've discussed. Yeah. Then McNeil. Then look, he's going half an hour left, and Ndiaye has to come off. Yeah. I mean, is he still thinking then on the bench, I'm going to put McNeil on anyway if we need to go and get a winner? No, I can't imagine he's going to make a substitution. But if he is, it's going to be Dwight McNeil. It feels like you're going down to 10 men. And then 83 minutes is the next one when you've got Irabuna who comes on for Jake O'Brien.
Yeah.
And then Alcaraz gets 7 minutes at the end. He must have done something bad to David Moyes, his family, or anything else, or hurt his dog, only to not get a game or start games.
It's got to be personal, hasn't it? Which is just bang out of order. You cannot have that as a manager when a player can add something to your team. Now, you know, Moyes might say he was vindicated in not playing him because he fucked up that pass at the end, which was bad. He should have just played it through, but he tried to take it on himself. It was the wrong decision. Players make wrong decisions. When it's at that end of the pitch, like Barry, he made the wrong decision in how he hit that ball because he missed the goal. Players make wrong decisions. You cannot define you cannot define their impact on a team by one wrong decision in a game. Okay, it means a lot when it doesn't, you know, when it stops a goal scoring chance. When you make a wrong decision so you don't score or you don't play the right pass for a goal scoring opportunity, that does kind of define how a game goes. But you've got to look at a player more in the round than that one instance. So if we look at James Tarkowski, let's pull at that thread for a minute. He was at fault for the goal. The goal was his fault.
Yeah.
100% his fault. Jamie Carragher actually did a really good piece on him after the game last night.
He did.
I am loath to give Carragher any credit, but it was a really good sort of little deep dive into how Tarkowski's played this season. And what he said was he's just playing too deep. He's dropping so deep. He's right in front of Pickford last night. And you saw Pickford afterwards having a go at him because Pickford had no chance. That comes straight through to him if Tarkowski's not stood about 3 feet in front of him. He did the same against
Carragher said it was Leeds, didn't he?
For the penalty. Did the same against Leeds for the penalty. That's going straight to Pickford. He's got to get in the way. A couple of seasons ago, he's doing that higher up in the box. So he's thrown his body in the way and he's getting his body in the way and he's making those blocks, but he's on the penalty spot or further out, which if it does deflect, it gives your keeper half a chance at least to save it.
Yeah.
When he's on the 6-yard box, he's got no chance. He's become a problem now. I said a few weeks back, I think we're better with him in the team than without. I don't think we are now. No. I think the time has come to drop him, put James Garner right back, put O'Brien and Keane in the centre-back positions because he's just not playing well enough and he's costing us. But the way Moyes would look at Barry and define him on that one miss. Look at Alcaraz, define him on that bad choice of not passing the ball. He won't define Tarkowski on that.
No,
He won't define him on that one issue, that one thing that he's done a couple of times now this season. And that's a big, big problem to me. And just to go back onto the young player thing, someone in the group dug out a Kevin Sheedy quote from when Moyes was manager at United. And he said, Sheedy, who coaches the Everton under-18 side, worked under former Toffees boss Moyes at Goodison Park. After United's 3-0 defeat by Liverpool on Sunday, Sheedy tweeted, all of you out there, Moyes was never interested in our youth team or players. So that was Sheedy, who was in charge of the under-18s, and Moyes didn't have any interest in them. And it does seem to be a thing, doesn't it? Because if you look at the evidence we just put forward there, he clearly trusts his older players. He clearly trusts Dewsbury Hall, even though he's had no impact on a game. But he's, the right side of 24. He's experienced. Grealish, the same. Trust him implicitly no matter what. Even when there are times, even though he did influence the game last night, there were times during that game where you think we could change this here, move him in the middle or bring him off and put someone else on for something different. He won't. Idrissa Gana Gueye, the same. James Garner, pretty much the same. They've not been great this season either. Tarkowski, massive issue. And it's just, he will not change those older players and he'll just sacrifice the younger ones. And it's frustrating when you've spent your whole summer buying young players. It's like, what's been the thought process there? And I'm getting wound up by it all now because he won't change it, and we need to change it before Fulham, and he won't.
Well, that's an excellent point there, and the way you've put it all together. You've heard me crying and kicking off and doing all sorts in the last 25 minutes, but you've just succinctly done it there in the space of 90 seconds. And I do think it does pull your mind in all sorts of different directions where you think, well, how's the recruitment now? What have we gone and done there? He's meant to be at the head of the list. Who decides who's coming in? Okay, you've spent 30 odd million on Barry, who you hook off after 10 minutes of telling them, come on, lad, let's go and do well, which he probably fucking didn't now. And then you've gone and got Dibbling there, who's had about 10 minutes if you accumulate how many times he's been on the pitch for us, and you're putting Dwight McNeil on in front of him. I mean, I'm going to go back to what Darren was saying there about, discuss if he was actually half decent in training and then Moyes got a headache and you've got to go and pick him. That's a good point there, because like I've said there, he must have been like Maradona if you're picking him on the list that's on that bench to go and do so. And now we look at Fulham here, and I mean, it's got to be the most important thing. I don't know whether I'm going a bit too far with this. It's got to be one of the most important first 11s in quite some time for us that he's going to go with here. Because let's face it, when we stayed up under Dyche and all that, he didn't really have much there to change it, did he?
No,
it was. Yeah, you could pick it. You could pick it yourself and sit there and go for a pint or whatever. Because that 11 was there. Everton have got a squad now, and I think this is another important issue here, Les, is that we've got a good squad, right? Let's take away as much as we can, which I can't take away that game. We've got a good squad. We've got a squad there with players on the bench who can come on and make an impact. And then he opts for what he went and did. And I've been defending David Moyes a lot for various different reasons this season. And look, we're 3 months in. And now I've got to a point where I'm like, you can see why West Ham fans had issues with him, despite the fact he went and won them the first trophy until football was invented. I can see why, because it's criminal that, again, just looking back at Dibbling there, when they're going home that horrible drive back home, or whatever it is he's going, that lad there must feel so deflated and think, why did they choose these? Because of the clubs are in for him. Well, why am I choosing these? I don't know what his agent's thinking. Maybe he got offered a lot more money. I don't know. But his agent must be sitting there thinking, Everton's the club to go to. You're David Moyes, really good manager in charge. Look a little bit deeper below the surface there, mate. And that's a damning stat you've just said there about young players. That lad is, what's he got to do to get on? Like you said about Alcaraz, what he can do to get on. The bar is so low. What we see in that 11 and what we see before he makes a substitution, then it makes it him look so bad, and you can't keep doing that. And what gets me about it, Les, here at the crux of it all is we've got owners who will walk up at Roma and say, "What's going on here, lads? You're gone."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if they come, because they've been quiet, and I think they've done that's really good. I think it's really intelligent what they've done in sort of they haven't broke any silence at all, have they, about Everton there? But they will at some point because something has to change. It's when you get that threshold. Again, I wouldn't sack David Moyes, but I can see that barometer is getting. It's not going more comfortable in his direction there. So you've got Fulham coming up, then an international break. We don't beat Fulham. We've all got to sit there for 2 weeks thinking, what's going on here now? Who we got after that?
It's Man United their way after that on another Monday night game.
Look, the Christmas fixtures as well. All, and you're thinking, do you know what? You've got them owners there, and they might well pull the trigger early doors. Can you blame them? I mean, I get criticised for supporting him, but you're doing stuff like that. He's not helping himself, and that's being kind. That's being really, really kind.
And he can change it. It's on him. Even when he makes these substitutions, as bad as they are, he's just not making any change to the system either. It's the same system with probably worse players because they're not in your starting 11. So that's probably your best team you're putting out. Players you're putting on the same system, unless they're offering like something different or like fresh legs, like for a lot more energy, which McNeil was neither. It's just not really changing anything. It's just making the situation worse. Right, Dave? Fulham at the weekend, Saturday 3:00 kickoff. It'll be nice. Be nice to get the new ground for a Saturday afternoon game for a change instead of this Monday night nonsense. Before we sort of get into that, I want to just a little quick look into whether we're too knee-jerk and too dramatic as a fan base, which we probably are.
Do you know why I'm laughing? Do you know why I'm laughing? Is that everyone come to the Win Factory, and we've got to go on stage for a few minutes to read the team out and all that. It's going to feel like panto, and I've gone on like the Grinch because I'm just going to be crying when I see this 11. Just like, mate.
We'll just get some audience interaction. We'll ask the audience who's in goal. Obviously, Pickford. Who's right back? Gonna be O'Brien, isn't it? It's gonna be the same.
It's gonna be like the Tudor years when I get thrown in the stocks and someone starts throwing tomatoes at my face here.
Maybe we should do that like Christmas panto season. I don't know.
We'll be like that. Might go dressed as Shakespeare or something. I don't
know. On the fans then, Twitter was a bit mad last night. It went nuts. I know it's a bit of an echo chamber and just a microcosm, but that was reflected in a lot of the group chats I'm in. It was reflected by you definitely on post-match. There was a lot of anger about last night, and rightly so, I think. Like to be completely level-headed about this, I think we probably are where maybe we should be. I think we've got 12 points in 10 games now. Extrapolate that out across the season, we comfortably stay up. It's fine. We're not pulling up any trees. We do what we've done the last 2 seasons. So, it's not the end of the world at the minute. It's a bit tense at the minute because we're not on a good run. Things don't look like they're getting better, and we're getting a lot of games coming up in the next month or so. And really, in those games we played, we probably could and should have done better, and that's where the anger comes in for me. But I don't think it's knee-jerk with us, and there's a lot of like accusations of that. Everton fans are too knee-jerk. They go off the deep end. We're either the best team in the world or we're absolute shite relegation fodder. I think it just comes down to frustration, which is perfectly acceptable. You can get angry with your team. You can get frustrated with your team when they put in a performance like that. It's no big deal to say these are shit, something needs to change, because they were shit and something does need to change. So I think any accusations of us being knee-jerk are a little bit off beam, I think. Especially given, we've had a big summer there. We spent a lot of money on, good young players apparently, and we're not seeing them. So that just adds to the frustration. I don't know what you think on that, whether you think we are a bit too knee-jerk. It takes all sorts of reactions and all sorts of people to support a club. I think in the main, we kind of just call it like it is. And when it's shite, we'll say it's shite. We're not deluded. We're not going to say, oh, this is unlucky and that's unlucky. In the main, we just call it out when it's crap, don't we?
Yeah, I don't think in this occasion, I don't think there's there's a need. Look, I've spoken about myself and things like that. Maybe I've been quite selfish on this podcast, but yeah, I think that relatively speaking, people, firstly, we have every right there to criticise Everton, but the manner in which we only got a point, I mean, we're talking here, we haven't mentioned that we got a draw from this game. I mean, I'd be flipping it if I was a Sunderland fan, to be honest with you, about what you saw there, because if you're watching that game and you aren't an Evertonian, you aren't a Sunderland fan, you think, oh, do you know what? Probably an entertaining game. This Sunderland probably should have gone and won it, but Everton should have been out of town 3-0 up after half an hour. That's a fair way of reviewing it, but what we're looking at right now, and look at every time when I've criticised Everton so far, which hasn't been like my usual level when I go, deep end with them, as you know, and I've been sucked into the fact you've got the stadium. The stadium's the thing that's at the centre of this. I keep on referring back to it with our shows because I'm thinking, can't wait to get back to the stadium. Can't wait. Fulham, can't wait. Can't wait for all this to happen. Can you imagine we didn't have the stadium? How people would feel right now?
Yeah,
it would be completely different.
Yeah, it would.
And it'd be, the mob would be out to get Moyes gone right now. So, and I think it is hard to deter that, and I've struggled to do so. But I tell you what, that can't continue to happen. That can't. Look, I don't care if you're in relegation battle or not. That can't keep happening.
No.
And this is why, I mean, he's got such an important selection here. We sit and look. We look. You make mates, and I talk to a lot of people where we're sitting in and around and all that, and it's great. But some of them, like, you'll have a laugh and a joke and all that. But Everton can be toxic. We know this. Everton can turn on a coin, flipping a coin, to be toxic, right or wrong. And I turn to you, and when Everton, after those shocking refereeing decision against Spurs, I turned to you and said, "This feels like Goodison. Yeah. This is in a positive sense. This is what Goodison was." But on the other side of it, I think if you see Everton play like they did, anywhere near like they did against Sunderland, it'd also be what Goodison's like when things go to shit.
It got a bit like that against West Ham.
Yeah, it did. It did. Yeah,
it got a bit like that against West Ham. And I think on
so do you think, Les? Do you think we've given too much leeway? Do you think with I mean, I know it's quite. It might be quite. It might be quite silly. It might be quite. I don't know what word I'm going for. It might be quite stupid to say those words, given that we're only 10 games into a season, which I was saying last week, we're only 9 games into a season. Yeah. That list is going to continue to go on, and I'm rightly so. I might get ripped apart for saying those things. I don't want to sit here and say, "Oh, do you know what? I was wrong." I think I'm pretty much level-headed to say when I've said things wrong, and I put that on there about Barry actually had one of his better games for us, and I was saying he was shite, and I don't ever want to see him again. I was wrong to say that, and I admitted it, and I left the tweet on there and said that to people who, you think are going to knock at your door. But this now, he's making this difficult to fans. Is it too early? I'm still going to say yes. It's too early to say you want him sacked. But one thing you can take from this is that surely it's enforced change. And if he doesn't, that's when you see him not able to turn this around. Yeah. Particularly with that run of games, particularly the amount of games we've got coming up, particularly with the squad that I've said, look, we've got a good squad there. We've got a good squad who can play well. You've seen elements of that so far this season. There are options too. He's got a bench. He's never had that at Everton before. He's never had money to spend at Everton before in the past. These things are brand new to him. Yeah, we've seen none of it. We've seen none of it yet, have we? Because he'll have obviously had the say in the players we've signed. But yeah, you've got a kid there who's probably aching to get a go because he signed for Everton and he's not getting on there. So he's got a load of problems, which I'd say he's created 90% himself there. Yet we've referred to how crap some performances are. But when players are playing crap, you've got options to make a change. You've got 5 subs these days.
Yeah,
exactly. 5. You can change half your team.
I think the big thing for me is it's on him now. It's completely on his shoulders. He can make changes to that team. He can make changes to the way they set up. He needs to make changes. If he doesn't, he's not right for the job. because what he's doing is not working. And when it's not working, you make changes. If you can't, you're not good enough. It's as simple as that. So, I mean, I don't think it is knee-jerk to say, he's on not a tightrope, maybe a bit of a knife edge, I'm not sure, but it's looking more precarious. The ice is getting thinner, basically, and he's got the tools there, and he's got the managerial experience, let's face it, to change this. Now, whether he will or not, that's another matter, but that's on him. It's not on us at all. It's on him because he needs to do something, because this is a dreadful run. We've got Man United after Fulham, then we've got Newcastle at home. I don't know where we are after that, but then the games come thick and fast in December, and suddenly, if you have a terrible December, you can be right down there. Even if you're top half, if you have a bad December, you can be right in a mess. So, yeah, it's a big month or so. Just before we finish, then, Dave, will he make any changes for Fulham?
Yeah, he will. Not enough. I think he'll start Beto.
Yeah, me too.
I think
that's it.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's neither here nor there, really, is it? But I feel as if he'll stick with the same system. Maybe change it one or two. Maybe he'll start dribbling. Will he learn from what many of us have said? I don't think David Moyes knows what social media is, because it might be quite handy. As much as we're all on there going ballistic and everyone's nuts on at times on social media, but if you want to get a general feeling of what your fan base has been looking at,
yeah,
I think if he went on there for 2 minutes there, he'd have a feeling of thinking, do you know what? Am I doing things wrong? Well, I guess he wouldn't anyway, because he hasn't. He's never learned from that in his life, has he? What other people refer to him, what other people think about it. Yeah, he seems to get to a point where he's desperate to say, "I told you so," with Moyes, and that's gone against himself. I reckon he might make a couple of decisions. I would take Dewsbury all out. I'd put Alcaraz in. If you're playing putting him as a 10 was shocking, absolutely shocking. So I'd like Alcaraz, if he's thinking about doing that, and putting the 10 in, Alcaraz in there. And if Ndiaye's injured, play Dibbling. And don't even get Dwight McNeil a taxi to that stadium, because that was unforgivable. Both Moyes putting them on, and what we haven't done much on, which we won't now, but McNeil's performance and effort himself is absolutely stinking. He doesn't deserve to put an Everton shirt on ever again.
It was horrific. Right, we'll leave it there, Dave, on that cheery note. We've got the byline coming up tomorrow on a Wednesday, because we're all the day behind. Also got a new, for Patreons, got a new Borough Blue with Adam Hardacre, author of The Seat Left Empty. Shouldn't be behind. The Seat Left Empty. And then, we'll have pre-match previews, mailbag, weekly, subs weekly, all the usual stuff, sort of at some point this week. It's all a bit messed up because we played on a Monday night, but everything will be out. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Hope you're not feeling too down after that or too angry. Go and have a sit down and a cup of tea. Might make you feel a bit better. That's what I'm going to do now. That's been it for this week's Toffee Tuesday. Nice one to Dave. Up the Toffees.